Hi everyone, Fire Players here, and welcome back to another YouTube video on the channel. And today, guys, we are going to be doing the GWS Giants versus Collingwood 2022 AFL AAMI Community Series match review. Alright, guys, so there's a couple of key questions answered in this game that are very important to what the season might look like for both of these clubs. There's some really big things that I took out of this game anyway. And yeah, a couple of big things out of this game that are quite important. Again, it is a practice match, but yeah, I do think there's a couple of important things out of the game. So let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and get right into things. So we're going to touch on a couple of big things in a minute, alright guys, but first of all, we're just going to be going over the scores. Now, GWS 15-10, 100, and Collingwood 8-11-59. Now, the scores is something that I do actually want to go over as one of my points from this game. Now, the first thing that I do want to say, though, is this was at the Giants' home stadium, so obviously they do play really strong there. If this was at a different ground, if it was at the SCG, it might have been a whole different scenario. But at their home ground, they do play quite strong there. It is hard to beat them there. So that's exactly why they got a good win and a big win in the end. Now, coming to the terms big is something that I don't know whether you could use big in this game, perhaps. I'm going to say that. Now, I'm not sure if you could use big as a kind of as a term in this game. Now, I did, because this game was actually decent early on. There was lots of, it was very even. Collingwood really hung in there for 3 quarters. They played 3 quarters, died off in the last, which, traditionally most lower teams also have that kind of attitude. You play 3 quarters and then you're done. Now, Collingwood in the practice match against Hawthorn looked superb, and their team was superb as well. But this week, being up against a harder opponent does test you. Was it Hawthorn were bad, or was it Collingwood were good? What was it last week? And that's up for debate as well. Collingwood good or Hawthorn bad? So were Collingwood playing good and Hawthorn were just playing their normal? Or were Hawthorn playing bad, Collingwood playing their normal? That's kind of the way it goes. Or were Collingwood playing their best and Hawthorn playing their worst? It could go really either way. Now, for the Giants last week, beating the Swans, a quality team, coming into this one, no one would have expected Collingwood to win. Now, again, that's exactly what happened, but there was some real highlights for Collingwood now. I do actually want to go over this. Jackie Ginnivan, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name, kicked a ripping goal from the pretty much goal line. It's a very hot footy, scrambling, no one could quite control it. Kicks it off the deck, goes nutmegging through the Giants defender's legs, and he kicks the first in the match. That was impressive. I saw that. Fantastic. Now, Maynard also will seem to be in some trouble after his late hit on a Giant player. So, again, we'll just have to wait and see how his scenario shall go. But, yeah, Maynard is in some trouble. And that's about it. Grundy was good in the ruck as well, winning hit-outs and that as well. But, yeah, that's that. The Giants, they were just so much overall better as it was their home deck, and they are so strong there. But now, we may as well go and have a look at some stats. So, yeah, although there is one more thing that I do want to talk about before we go ahead and do that, is that, yeah, I was extremely impressed that Collingwood actually kept it close for the first 2.5, 3 quarters. Something about that. They actually kept it pretty close. They were there. Again, a little bit like Essendon last night. They were just there, but didn't really do anything while they were there. So they were hanging around that 20-point margin, which is like almost that margin. But like if you just hang there and don't really do anything, if it's 20 points and it's goal for goal, it's like a bit boring. If it's 20 points and no team really does anything, again, it gets boring. It was just like the Crows game yesterday. The better team blew it out later in the afternoon. So, having a look at the worm here, Collingwood, it was an up and down first term. Giants leading 24-14 at the first break. That was the only really quarter where Collingwood had their taste of a lead, and then they never led again after that first term for the little parts they did. And then it was in the second term, not really a lot of action if you were to ask me. Giants did get 3 goals, 1 goal for the Pies. But not really a lot going on. Giants, again, mainly keeping it at that same lead for around the same time. That same, I don't know what you'd call it. Would you call it like a 15 or so point lead? Or a 10 or so point lead there. And then they kind of blew it out a little bit more to the second quarter to be about 20 points or 25 points. Because then if you work it out, 7-3, 45, 23. So, yeah, 22 points at the halftime break. And then in the third term, not really a lot of action, actually. It was pretty much a straight line the third term with a couple of goals. Giants got out to a 30-point lead, but then again, it was sucked back to reality to go 11-5, 71. So, it was 70-40. It was about 26-ish at the main break. At the three-quarter time break, and then in the end, GWS blew it up in the end to make it a 41-point win. Now, going through some big stats, you can see it was a giant demolition pretty much. In the end, Josh Kelly, 41 disposals. Jake Riccardi, Bobby Hill, Oliver Henry collecting the 3 goals. Timmy Taranto and Josh Kelly, 122 fantasy. And Braden Priest, a big man, getting in and getting 6 tackles of his own. Now, you can see there some big touches for the Giants. 41 for Kelly. 31 for Green. That's a real promising shining light. As Tommy Green is a young player, he's coming up, and he'll be a fantastic player in the future. 31 for Taranto, 30 for Ward. So it was the Giants getting in. Nick Dacos, a standout, 31 touches for him as well. He's really going to make his name. Pendlebury, same old self, 28 touches. He's still elite. And then 27 for Stephen Cornelio, pretty much rounding out the big numbers of touches. And then still getting some on the half-backish area. 25 for Noble and Crisp, and then 23 for Whitfield. And that'll round it out pretty much for disposals. Now, disposal efficiency. Now, this is a big thing. Going at 100. No one really. Nathan Kruger's out though. That's disappointing actually. He was going to be pretty good. I was actually looking forward to seeing him play as well, and see what role he's going to really adapt into. Now, obviously, oh wow, Kelly goes at 85 with 41 disposals. Now, I do understand that more of them are kicks. Are handballs, but still, 85 is pretty good. Only 65 for Green. Again, still a young player finding his place. 71 and 74 for Taranto and Dacos. 83 for Ward, 82 for Pendlebury. Crisp went at 84. Obviously, needing to be really clean off that back line. Obviously, trying to transfer into the middle. Now, we're going to be having a look at hitouts. Brodie Grundy. He's just too good. He's one of the best. He's probably one of the best games. He's probably one of the best, if not one of the best ruckman in the competition. He always, time and time again, even when his team's down, he still picks them up, and he's fantastic in the hit-out area. And then Flynn and Bruce sharing ruck duties. Cox went in for a little bit. Riccardi and Taranto had their fair share as well. 1 hit out for Riccardi, 1 for Taranto. Interesting they've chosen Taranto. Let's see what... He's only 188. That's an interesting choice compared to like Riccardi being 195, Cox being 211, Bruce being 206. So like, wouldn't you find like taller people than like Taranto in the team? Possibly. Like you could chuck Himmelberg in there. He's 195. So yeah, interesting choices there by the Giants. Now I'm going to go and have a look at some team stats. So, disposals won by Giants. Pies more handball. They went inside 50 more, the Pies. 41% inside 450. That does need urgent fixing as well. If you're a team looking to bounce back in 2022, 41% inside 450. 24 shots from 58 is not going to do it. The Giants, 54%. Still not a brilliant number, but... You'll have to take it. 30 shots from 56 inside 50s, and 25 in total. And then the Pies, 8 plus 11 would be 19. 19. Compared to 25 for the Giants. Now, hitouts was won by the Pies. but then all clearances won by Giants, so they were getting the ball onto their turn early. Winning the possessions and uncontested possessions. Also winning the turnovers, but obviously, again, Collingwood were inaccurate, you could say. But also, were they turning it over at an okay place? Were they turning it over in their forward line, where Collingwood can't end up going to go and take it and get a shot? Now, marks inside 50 is a big one that I've always been talking about as well. 14-6, the Giants can go back, have a shot, compared to just trying to whack it onto the boot. They won marks by a long way as well. And the time in front, GWS spent a long time in front compared to the Pies, who didn't. And yeah, that's about it. More tackles to the Pies, although again, how you do them. They were having way more bounces, 1 to 10. So does that mean they were maybe not bouncing it correctly, maybe, and maybe making turnovers there? Anyway, that's going to be it for today's match reviews. The Giants taking this one out very convincingly. The Swannies are playing at Giants Stadium right now as I speak, playing North Melbourne. They have just built out a little bit of a lead now, the last time I saw. But I do hope you guys did enjoy this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so then you guys will never miss another video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much for watching. So bye guys, 5 players out.